Did you seek the support of Luzerne County Democratic leaders?
We had conversations. There was really no formal arrangement there. I was fortunate enough to receive an endorsement in the primary because of the fact that I was the only candidate that finally entered the race. I think that what happens is with a number of the challenges that we have, that may have limited the field to a certain extent.
Why did you self-select out at that point? Why didn't you say? Apparently no one else, or people were thinking a lot differently than you were.
Well, that may well be. But I think that the challenge is an important one. Quite honestly, I've lived here all my life with the exception of one or two brief periods, and my family has been here for many years, and I think that every so often, there's a requirement to step up. And quite honestly, you're right. The easy thing may have been to kind of, duck the race, if you will, because it's a tough challenge. But again, I think that what happens is you'll see that my entire career has been spent dealing with those kind of challenges, and I think that I'm ready for that.
Tell us a little bit about your educational background and how that fits, because from an outsider here, stock picking isn't the same as being an auditor or accounting or what have you. And I know that's an elementary view.
Well, actually, yes, it certainly is. In the fact that it really is not. I'm not a stock picker necessarily. I'm responsible for investment management for my clients. We look at all phases of their financial lives: the accumulation, the investment, and the distribution phase. We plan for their continuing on, any gifts to charities, any things of that nature. Probably the more appropriate comparison was my time, the 10 years that I spent in the institutional side of the business. I managed large retirement plans. I was responsible for working with the audit teams, in external audit teams for those plans. I reported to boards of directors, committees of the board for those plans. I was the day-to-day contact for those retirement plans. So I think that that experience was probably the most important part of it. You're right. Stock picking necessarily isn't. But I think that the other point is that my experience in total is greater than any of the other candidates that are in the race. My experience in this area, we have a $150 million pension plan, which is a huge liability for the taxpayers. We're now faced with the issue of contributing over $11 million. Obviously, $11 million is essentially 1/3 of the amount that we're going to have to borrow. I think that you're not going to have to introduce me to the concept of stocks, bonds, and cash when it comes to managing the pension plan. I think that my experience will go a long way in helping to make that pension plan management more active on behalf of the taxpayers.